Kaspa family, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. Without further ado, let's get right in today's update and see what's happening with Kaspa's price as we are going into Wednesday morning. Again, looking across the board, we're seeing the market kind of, shifting back into the green. We've seen a little bit of a bounce over the last few hours, but again, at this point, if you've watched some of my most recent updates, you guys know what has been happening. If not, if you only focus on the Kaspa updates, we will, of course, talk about what has happened, but I'm not going to go in depth. So, what I would suggest you guys to do is make sure you guys, take a few minutes out of your time to go watch the market analysis update. I went into detail as to, what's really happening. So, I would suggest you guys to do that. But again, as far as, the broader market is concerned, like I said, over the last few hours, we've seen a little bit of a bounce, but nothing to be getting overly excited about just yet. Caspa's price still down quite significantly, but so is the broader market. Kaspa is down 22.2% over the last few days alone. But let's take a closer look and see what's happening. Before we do that, as always, just a quick disclaimer. Anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So Kaspa's price, 4.47 cents. So if we were to round it up, 4.5 cents. Also up about 4% on the Bitcoin side of things. Valuation, 1.2 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume, $80.4 million. What's absolutely insane to me is the fact that the price of Kaspa is barely holding within the top 100 ranks. You could see for yourself, valuation at $1.2 billion. You guys understand that in this day and age is nothing. But again, obviously, with all fairness, we need to understand that the entire market has seen a huge flush. That's obviously impacting altcoins, and Kaspa is no exception. But again, it's just crazy to think about that the valuation is sitting at this low for Cas right now. Again, if you want to know market cap in terms of its all-time high, let's actually take a look at it. Let's see if we can see that here. So June, yeah, so June or July, give or take, we came up to almost $5 billion valuation for Kaspa. So that is quite helpful to see. If you're looking at the Bitcoin dominance here, you can see for yourself 60.65% right now. Obviously, we saw a major uptick, and again, this kind of goes unsaid. We saw this happening due to Bitcoin retracing below $100,000, something we've talked about on the channel. Again, like I said, going back to the market analysis update, but we have seen a little bit of a cool off, as you can see for yourself. Bitcoin, on the other hand, see for yourself over the last 1 hour alone. We saw Bitcoin price drop in below the 38.2. We went to $98,000. And then, we picked up quite fast. But again, as I've highlighted on the other videos right now, it's not something to be getting overly excited about because, of course, confirmation is all the way in the 23.6. And at this point, that is still far off. Unless we get back in the 23.6, there's still a chance for BTC to see more downside. And again, after the price of Bitcoin was able to break below the $100,000 price point, I think there is a little bit more downside left for Bitcoin before we start heading towards the upside. So as far as Kaspa's price is concerned, let's take a closer look at it to see what has happened. You could see for yourself, again, if you do watch my other Kaspa updates, I'm sure you guys are familiar with those updates and what we have discussed. I talked to you guys about the October 10th, low, and the price of Kaspa tried its absolute best to not break below that key range. But you can see, we obviously dropped below it based off of what has happened with Bitcoin. The price of Kaspa dropped an additional 15% since then. So again, I want you guys to understand which levels we're retesting right now. I hope you guys know we are retesting levels we have not seen since September of 2023. So, bear market, like, this obviously bear market was ending at that price point. That was once an all-time high for Kaspa, but we're retesting some of these very, very, critical levels. You can see for yourself for Kaspa. So now you can see, we came down to 4 cents. Significant support around the 4 cents. We've talked about that on the channel. Again, you guys shouldn't be surprised that Kaspa's price did go down to this key range. Because of course, what has happened with the broader market, but we did pick up, we're sitting at about 4.5 cents right now. That is also a resistance for Kaspa, but you want to see the price, claiming back above, this 5 cents mark. That's very, very important. And I think Kaspa will be able to do that if Bitcoin is able to push back into some of these levels that I have just discussed. But again, even if Bitcoin is able to get back up to $107,000 at this point, I'm not buying it until we get into the 23.6. So that's how I'm currently looking at Kaspa right now. I still think, we potentially could see more downside for Kaspa. Obviously, if Bitcoin does not hold around these levels, a major support line for Kaspa, if you were to ask me, around 3.6 cents, that's still far off from where we currently are. If you want to put this into perspective, that's a 20% move. Still would require, Bitcoin to see quite a sharp pullback, dominance to pull, even higher. But that's something I want you guys to be aware of. I've been seeing some comments, some people, again, now you're starting to see the market shift taking place. It's 50-50 at this point. Some people are very, very happy. And at the same time, the other, 50% are not happy. They're just frustrated with the market, not, moving towards the upside. But again, that's the risk factor, that comes with it. And historically speaking, we're actually getting closer to the all-time highs and, the market top. I've told you guys this before, but at the same time, there's the other way to look at it and, analyze this market. Could the 4-year cycle no longer be in play this time around? Because historically speaking, this time around for the space should be bullish, and equity market is doing good. Rate cuts are happening. But right now, crypto is doing the complete opposite. Are we going to see this extension playing out in 2026? That is something we'll see based off of what Bitcoin does in the upcoming weeks ahead of us. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you so much for the love. We'll see you later in Crypto ZX, and peace out.